Today, we're diving deep into something that, might look like just a simple kitchen tool, but it's actually this global cultural phenomenon,
Yeah.
Hario V60 pour over.
Right.
Our mission here, using all this great source material we've gathered, is to really explore its unexpected history, its design philosophy, which is fascinating, and its huge global impact. For many of you listening, the V60 isn't just about making coffee. It's become this key symbol of what we call third wave coffee culture.
Definitely.
All about that craft, the clarity in the cup, and that beautiful morning ritual. We're going to uncover how science, art, and this incredible Japanese precision are all woven right into its story.
Yeah, and what's really striking is how something that looks so simple, so minimalist, can have such a rich, deliberate journey behind it. What you see in the V60, it really embodies that Japanese design ethos we talk about. That deep commitment to minimalism, crystal clear function, and a kind of quiet perfectionism.
Quiet perfectionism, I like that. It fits perfectly.
It really does. There's this profound connection between the product and the underlying philosophy.
Absolutely. And to really get how this, seemingly humble device became such an icon, we have to start at its surprising origins. The company we know now as Hario. It began way back in 1921, founded as Hiromu Shibata Works.
Right.
But here's the kicker. Their initial focus was totally different. Heat-proof glass for scientific instruments.
Yeah, labware.
Exactly. They were pioneers in Japan for borosilicate glassware, making, lab funnels, beakers, that sort of thing, for decades. It is wild to think about, but the name Hario, it comes from Hario, which literally means king of glass.
King of glass. They really lived up to it.
They really did. What a vision back then.
And that's the real magic, isn't it? Because in science, you're obsessed with variables, control, getting repeatable results.
Precision.
Exactly. So when Hario eventually turned to consumer products, they brought that same rigor, that same mindset. It wasn't just about, oh, let's make a nice cup of coffee. It was more like, how do we engineer the perfect cup?
Ah, okay. That scientific foundation became their unique advantage. It directly influenced their coffee philosophy. How do we control extraction? How do we understand the variables? Create a consistently delicious result.
Almost like a scientific pursuit for the everyday.
Precisely. And after World War II, they did start expanding into consumer goods.
Yeah.
Kitchenware first, then thermometers, and crucially, coffee siphons, tea accessories.
Okay.
And by the 1950s, Japan was really changing. A big consumer revolution was happening. You saw the rise of Western-style cafes and these iconic Japanese coffee houses, the kizaten,
right.
which created this clear market need. Hario was just perfectly positioned, really, to merge that scientific precision with everyday utility.
Okay, so they've got this incredible science background, the glass expertise, and now this growing consumer market for coffee. In the 1960s, Hario released some early coffee things, right? Like vacuum siphons, some simple glass strippers.
Yeah, they did. Well-crafted, but still kind of niche at that point. Okay. But what was really shaping Hario's thinking, and eventually led to the V60, was the huge influence of that Japanese kisaten tradition.
Absolutely crucial.
We're talking about a culture of slow, careful brewing, quiet appreciation, treating coffee almost like tea, right? A real moment of pause. How did that deeper philosophy kind of translate into their actual product design?
Well, that's a key insight. It was less about speed or mass production and more about this really intentional, almost meditative process. Hario's designs, even the early ones, they started to mirror this, blending their scientific precision with this deep sense of serenity and ritual.
Science meets serenity.
Exactly. And this quiet, meticulous approach, it directly led to what we know today. In the 1980s, Hario actually made a conical coffee dripper, but just for internal use. It was basically a direct precursor to the V60.
Ah, okay, so the idea was there.
The seed was planted. But that revolutionary design, the one that truly changed the game, the one you instantly recognize, that didn't fully emerge until the early 2000s.
Right. So despite all that foundational work, those early experiments, the real game changer was still decades away.
Yeah.
And when Hario finally unleashed it in 2004, it looked simple, but it was utterly revolutionary. The V60 dripper. And yeah, named for its exact 60-degree cone angle. Simple as that.
Yep.
This was such a bold move away from the flat-bottomed, Melita-style drippers that were so common, especially in the West.
Totally different.
So what specifically made it so revolutionary in practice? What were the key things?
Okay, yeah, it really boils down to three brilliant design features that all work together. First, you've got the spiral ribs inside the cone. Those raised ridges, they're not just for looks.
Right.
They promote airflow, let water flow evenly around the coffee grounds without choking it. That's key to avoiding bitterness, that over-extraction.
Makes sense.
Second, there's that large single hole at the bottom. Unlike drippers with lots of little holes, the V60's wide opening gives you total control over water flow. And that means control over your brew time.
Okay, complete control.
Pretty much. And third, the V-shaped cone itself. It encourages a deeper bed of coffee grounds, which, if you use the right technique, helps get a really uniform extraction.
Technique is key then.
Oh, absolutely. And they launched it in different materials too, right? Ceramic, glass, plastic, eventually metal. Each one has slightly different heat retention, maybe affects flow a tiny bit.
That's interesting. And what's really fascinating is the timing of this launch. Around 2004, we were seeing this global surge of the third wave coffee movement.
Yeah.
How did the V60 end up becoming such a central player in that whole thing?
It was just a perfect storm, really. The third wave movement was all about the origin of the beans, the processing, this really intentional, almost artisanal way of brewing.
Right, appreciating the details.
Exactly. And the V60, with its sleek look and the scientific precision it kind of demanded from the user, well, it became the undeniable poster child for the whole movement.
It looked the part and it performed the part.
Yeah, precisely. It wasn't just a tool, it felt like a statement. And from Japan, it spread incredibly quickly to specialty cafes all over the world. Its minimalist aesthetic, plus that total control it offered over brewing, it just made it an instant favorite among pro baristas.
Yeah, and if you've ever watched a World Brewers Cup competition, and honestly, who hasn't been mesmerized watching those baristas work?
Right. It's amazing.
You see the V60 constantly. Baristas use its open-ended nature, meaning they can tweak the grind, the pour patterns, even the filter paper to really show off their skills. From 2010 onwards, loads of world champions actually use the V60 to win their titles.
It became the competition standard for many.
But for the average person, at home, why did it resonate so widely? It's not like everyone wants to be a world champion barista in their kitchen every morning.
That's the real question, isn't it? Beyond the pros, why did it take off with home brewers? I think it comes down to a few key things. First, accessibility. It's relatively cheap, super easy to travel with, and now you can find them pretty much everywhere.
True, they're everywhere.
Second, customizability. It genuinely lets anyone, barista or home brewer, fine-tune every single part of the brew. The outcome feels incredibly personal.
Your coffee, your way.
Exactly. And third, transparency. Its design sort of inherently encourages learning, experimenting, sharing tips within the coffee community.
Ah, that community aspect is big.
It's huge. And we really can't overlook the massive role of social media platforms like YouTube. Homebrewers researching, how do I make coffee like my favorite cafe? And boom, V60 tutorials just exploded online.
So people could actually see how to do it.
See it, learn it, and replicate that amazing experience at home.
It's clear the V60's success isn't just about clever engineering, though. It feels deeply connected to its cultural roots in Japan. You mentioned the design tradition influenced by Zen Buddhism, wabi-sabi aesthetics, even the tea ceremony culture.
Very much so.
You can almost see it embodying those core Japanese design principles, like Kanso simplicity,
Right.
Shizen naturalness, Shui that subtle elegance, and just a deep respect for craft and ritual. But how does that actually translate into the physical object? Can you give us an example?
Yeah, you see it so clearly. Take Kanso. It isn't just simplicity, it's about stripping away everything non-essential to reveal pure function. The V60 is basically just a cone, a hole, and some ribs. There's nothing extra.
No frills.
None. And shibui. That's that understated beauty, that quiet sophistication you appreciate more over time through repeated use. Much like the subtle notes in coffee that the V60 helps you taste.
That's a great comparison.
And it truly functions as a kind of ritual object.
Yeah.
That slow, spiraling pour you use when making coffee with it. It really echoes the meditative motions you see in Chanyu, the traditional Japanese tea ceremony.
Ah, I see the connection now.
It reinforces this idea that in Japan, coffee isn't always just a quick caffeine hit. It's often about mindfulness, a moment of presence.
A moment to slow down.
Exactly.
And Hario didn't just stop with the original V60, did they? They kept innovating.
No, they definitely didn't rest on their laurels. They've continued that dialogue with the specialty coffee world.
So we've seen variations like the V60 switch. That's the hybrid immersion and pour over one.
Yep, all those for different brew styles.
And the W60 with the flat bottom and metal mesh.
Right, aiming for maybe a cleaner cup profile for some.
Then there are the copper and stainless steel V60s, for better heat stability.
Mm, thermal consistency is huge for pros.
And even that drip assist ring, designed with the champion barista Tetsuya to help guide your pour.
Yeah, making precise technique a bit more accessible. It shows they're constantly listening and responding to how people are actually using it, what baristas are discovering.
It's fascinating.
You know, you could argue that what the mocha pot was for mid-century Italy, the V60 has really become for the modern global coffee lover.
A gateway to craftsmanship.
Absolutely. A gateway to true craftsmanship at home. It empowers you, the home brewer, to get that cafe-quality coffee without dropping thousands on an espresso machine.
Yeah, that's a big appeal.
It encourages you to explore all those variables, grind size, water temp, pour rate, to really experiment with different beans from all over the world, Ethiopia, Colombia, Yemen.
Getting nerdy with it.
Totally. It has genuinely inspired a whole new generation of home brewers to, like, think like baristas and taste like cuppers.
Right.
You see entire online communities, Reddit threads, Instagram, YouTube, all dedicated to dialing in your V60. It's a powerful tool for coffee education, not just brewing.
Okay, but despite its icon status, all this innovation, the V60 isn't perfect, right? It does have some drawbacks we should acknowledge.
Well, for sure. Nothing's perfect.
Many people find it has a pretty steep learning curve. It can be, well, intimidating for beginners.
Definitely takes practice. It's not the most forgiving brewer.
And there's the consistency issue. Small changes in your technique, your pour especially, can drastically change how the coffee tastes.
That's the flip side of control and consistency if you're not precise.
And it's not really ideal for making large batches, is it? Best for 1 or maybe 2 cups at a time.
Yeah, it shines for single servings, maybe 2. Not great for a crowd.
Some coffee pros even prefer brewers that are maybe a bit more forgiving, like the Kalita Wave or the Origami Dripper.
Sure, they offer different characteristics, perhaps more consistency for some.
But still, for those who really value that deep level of control and want that ultimate clarity in the cup, the V60 remains a favorite. A challenge, maybe, but a favorite.
Absolutely. It still holds that special place for those who want to master the variables. So what does all this mean for its enduring legacy? I think as we move more into this era that values home rituals, maybe slowing down a bit.
Yeah, slow living seems more relevant than ever.
Right. The V60 really stands as a tool that encourages both. Its success, ultimately, it isn't just the clever engineering, it's about the underlying ethos. The V60 isn't just about extraction, it feels profoundly about intention.
Intention over extraction, I like that.
It's inspired everything from barista competitions, this thriving home coffee culture, a whole ecosystem of accessories, even academic research into brewing variables.
Wow, academic research too.
Yeah, people study this stuff. Its role in third wave coffee is absolutely secure. But maybe more importantly, it just keeps inviting people across all cultures, all skill levels, to slow down and truly savor the moment.
What stands out most to you about the V60's journey? For me, it's just incredible proof that sometimes great design can genuinely change lives, or at least daily rituals. What started as this humble, lab-inspired cone has become this global symbol of mindful coffee. It's changed how we brew, how we taste, how we connect over coffee.
Hmm.
From those quiet kisetten in Japan to busy espresso bars in Melbourne, from World Brewers Cup stages to kitchen counters in Berlin, Lagos, Sao Paulo. The V60's spiral path just keeps shaping our coffee world.
It really does. And maybe this raises an important question for all of us listening. In an age that's so often dominated by speed, by convenience, what does the V60's enduring appeal really suggest about us? Maybe it points to a deeper human desire for ritual, for intention, for that quiet satisfaction you get from mastering a craft. It's perhaps not just about the coffee itself, but the practice of making it. That practice offers this unique, meaningful kind of engagement in our otherwise fast-paced lives.
It's a reminder.
Yeah, a reminder that sometimes slowing down is actually the fastest path to truly enjoying something.